Welcome back to Tech Tracks. I'm Alex, and with me is Priya. Big space headlines today, starting with a proposal that sounds like something out of science fiction. Roscosmos says it wants to build a nuclear power plant on the moon. Quick recap. Russian media and officials put this project on their lunar roadmap with timelines reported anywhere from a few years to around 2036. They say the plant would power lunar operations, and the announcement sits alongside other ambitions like Venus exploration.
Hey, Alex. Good to be here. Yeah, it's a jaw-dropper. The key detail is that there aren't any explicit international rules banning nuclear reactors in space, which makes this both technically intriguing and politically tricky. The idea is to provide steady, high-density power for long-duration bases or industrial activity where solar might not cut it.
So, beyond the spectacle, what are the practical motivations? Why nuclear, and why the moon now?
Two big reasons. First, nuclear gives reliable, continuous power, day and night, crucial in permanently shadowed craters at the poles, where sunlight is scarce, but resources like water ice may sit. Second, as moon missions scale up, habitats, rovers, resource processing, power demands grow. A compact reactor can supply kilowatts to megawatts without massive solar farms or fuel resupply.
Sounds obvious on paper, but what about risks? Launch accidents, surface contamination, diplomatic headaches?
All of the above. Launch and deployment of a reactor carries radiological risk if something goes wrong during ascent. On the surface, designers aimed for fail-safe reactors and landers to minimize contamination. Politically, neighbors and spacefaring nations will demand transparency and safeguards. There's also a legal gray area. The Outer Space Treaty governs activities, but it doesn't outright ban nuclear power sources in space. Expect urgent talks at the UN and with space agencies worldwide.
Could this be another front in the great space competition, a technological demonstration as much as a utility?
Definitely. Symbolism matters. A deployed lunar reactor would be a huge prestige achievement and a proof point for long-term presence. It could spur rivals to accelerate their own power solutions, more advanced solar, fuel cells, or small reactors. So expect a mix of genuine utility planning and geopolitical signaling.
Quick banter. If they build it, do we get lunar Wi-Fi that's faster than my home connection?
Only if they partner with ISPs, otherwise it's mostly mission power. But hey, a powered base means better comms infrastructure down the line.
Transitioning now to a launch that actually happened, and closer to home, ISRO has just launched the heaviest payload ever from Indian soil, the BlueBird Block-2 communication satellite aboard the upgraded LVM3 M6 rocket. Priya, you were tracking this. What went down?
Yes, a fully commercial launch for AST SpaceMobile. The satellite was about 6.1 tons placed into roughly 520-kilometer low Earth orbit. ISRO released footage of the liftoff and separation. Prime Minister Modi hailed it as a proud milestone. Technically, it shows LVM3's upgraded heavy lift capability and India's competitiveness in commercial launches.
6.1 tons. That's a big leap for ISRO. How does this shift India's role in the global launch market?
It's significant. First, it proves India can handle larger, heavier commercial payloads, which attracts international customers and revenue. Second, reliability matters. A visible success like this builds trust for future contracts. It also feeds into domestic ambitions. Heavier launches are relevant for planned uncrewed orbital missions and the human spaceflight goals India has discussed.
Any technical trade-offs or concerns? I've seen chatter about cost versus capability.
Observers note a balance. Offering heavy lift capability is great, but cost competitiveness, launch cadence, and integration services matter too. ISRO's upgrades show maturity, but to dominate the market, they'll need frequent launches, streamlined commercial operations, and sometimes faster turnarounds than typical national agencies are set up for.
And the satellite itself. BlueBird aims to provide space-based cellular broadband, right? Could that change how remote connectivity works?
Absolutely. These satellites act like cell towers in space, connecting smartphones directly in coverage gaps. For remote regions, maritime, or disaster relief, it's a game changer. But it also raises regulatory and spectrum coordination questions globally.
Final thought. Both stories remind me that space is moving from exploration to infrastructure. Reactors, broadband, heavy lifts. Welcome to the orbital economy.
Well put. And as always, the tech is thrilling, the politics complicated, and the coffee and mission control probably strong.
That's our 5 minutes. Thanks for listening to Tech Tracks. I'm Alex.
And I'm Priya.
We'll be back with more tech news and the inevitable plot twists from orbit. Cheers.
The preceding audio summary was created at jesterengine.com, where you can find and verify the original sources.